Understand consciousness, understand that you're swimming in it, and make use of it, and be a blessing because each of us have tremendous talents.
So, Jack, what does it mean to be a professor of consciousness?
First of all, I had the opportunity to be parachuted into several classes at the university with first year, second year, third year students.
Yeah.
And I get to teach my favorite subject.
So, why is it your favorite subject, and what is consciousness to you?
In my professional career from 40 to now,
Yeah.
the subject of consciousness was introduced to me by my colleagues. And basically what they were saying is that everything is energy, everything is connected, and just to get people to understand and experience it. So for the years I've learned about the subject.
Would you say that everything has an intelligence to it?
Everything has an intelligence because the universe has been around here for 22.4 billion years.
Okay.
It will continue whether you like it or not, but if you'd like to participate in its energy, then if I can pass on that gift to my students and help them in their grades and companies to apply values, that's energy in application.
How does understanding consciousness make a difference?
I think because the more I learn that consciousness is the total interconnected energy within me, within us, within countries. And since I am convinced in my own mind that that energy has the quality of love, so the more love that I can teach in the form of creating healing, peace, and cooperation on the planet, and the better gift I can give to people.
So there's this talk in physics of whether things are going to a state of greater chaos or going to a state of greater organization and coalescing into higher and higher states of beingness. If we extrapolate that out to consciousness, and consciousness knowing about itself, what is the direction that consciousness, or we as a part of consciousness, are headed?
Well, I think it depends on one's perspective. I'm a bridge builder between quantum physicist and spirituality.
Love it.
Yeah.
And to me, they're one and the same.
Yeah, the same. But if my perspective is being materialistic as a quantum physicist, I'm constantly be looking for smaller and smaller particles.
Yeah.
So I'm myopic in that way. If I am a person open to the universe, I'm going to have openness to what is synchronicity, what is fate, what is emotion. And then if you begin to see your perspective, your belief system says that's what the universe is, then that is what I want to promote.
I had on guests earlier this week. They're actually quite concerned. It was about CERN and what experiments are taking place there. But how can we, and does quantum science, by looking at the smallest particles and looking at smaller particles, how does that tie into understanding consciousness and understanding the everything of everything?
The more I study from scientific perspectives, the more detailed and miraculous the composition is of everything in my body, in the planet, in the universe. And I will be then helping people to see the bigger picture and to have experimentation that are more all-inclusive and in-depth.
So what would you say is then the big picture?
The big picture for me, that I grew up in a family of a believing community, and much like you mentioned today when I asked you the question about how would you define God, and you beautifully said, well, it is just love. And it's love in operation. And if love is operation, that is the foundation of the universe. I'm on board. I want to pass that message on. And I am dealing with my own leukemia. And so I live in this tent. But my spirit is free and it's eternal. And I am getting better and better in the outcome. And the doctor saying, keep it up. And so I am applying, as we all do, consciousness.
Would you say kids today and the students that you're working with today come in with a different understanding, operating system, or way of being in the world today?
I definitely believe that. And I believe that, as I say, is that we are on an upshift on the planet. I see it in my young people who are now embracing AI, and they are more open. So I am very optimistic about bringing the people together. I asked my doctor, who likes my YouTube,
Yeah.
Adventures in Consciousness. And my wife likes your work, and he's my doctor. And I said, well, let me ask you a question. Do you think that the medical community intends would be open for workshops in this area? He says, no. Where that he himself, being a professional, is not yet experiencing within the medical profession the openness to say, we must study this. Now, in any organization, you have the advanced people, you have the middle of the road, and you have the naysayers. So I'm here to shake it up. And I'm about to say, too, that because I now have 10 chapters of Adventures in Consciousness, I finished my first chapter on having an adventure in consciousness. What's an adventure? And then each month I will check it out, and it'll be airborne. And so more people are saying, I love your concept, but what are the chapters? And that's what I'm working on.
You have a very Fred Allen Wolf-esque energy to you. Do you know Fred Allen Wolf?
No.
You'll see him in the movie The Secret. He has a comic strip from probably 20 years ago at this point, but you can look it up online, and I believe it's called Adventures in Consciousness.
Beautiful. We're on the same page.
Absolutely on the same page. I wanted to go back to kids for a minute. How are you seeing kids handle the juxtaposition between we are all consciousness, we are all one, or what kids are starting to feel and see, with the apparent darkness or challenges on the planet today?
As you as well help us understand, the more that we are helping our children to be immersed in their playfulness and the love that they need to be experienced from the parents. So that means good parenting.
Yeah.
And I believe in the larger universal system of angels and guides and everything else. And I do believe that there are more souls coming into the planet who are already bringing the joy that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And the more research for children are already remembering past lives, and they will say to their parents, oh, I used to live over there, I used to live over there. And we have experts saying, now, just a minute, what's going on? And they have realized that children now, new souls coming into the planet, are already bringing a higher level.
Would you say that there is a thinning of the veil or a thinning of the blindfold to who and what we are? And as consciousness is expanding at this time, we're coming in more able to navigate this, remembering that we are energetic beings.
I absolutely believe that. It makes me an eternal optimist.
Yeah.
And I believe that we need to pay attention to children, to say when they're telling us stories and not saying, oh, no, don't talk about that. No, parents need to say, tell me more about that. And listen to them and honor them, because their playfulness is, I can see in my own children and grandchildren, that the more we immerse ourselves in that, the more we are opening that they already were beyond the veil. They are now visiting for whatever, the first, the second, the third time. And so I think society needs to appreciate that we are members on the planet. And as you pointed out, we are the individualized expression of the love of our Creator, however we define it. And I'm here to bring peace and connectedness wherever I teach. So that means we've got to be able to be open to that.
Do we each bring our own individual soul mission and journey? And the corollary to that is, are we all on the same larger mission? And then where do we place our focus this lifetime?
Well, first of all, it's a bit like if you're using a ski lift.
Yeah.
And I used to trek up the mountain by holding a rope.
Yes.
Now I
Been
can
there,
go
done that.
up the great lift, and not only will I see about 3 or 4 other people, but I will soon be on top.
Yeah.
And then I have that adventure of skiing. So if we use the adventure of skiing to the adventure of opening your mind and your heart and your faith, and then begin to talk to each other to validate it, because that is what we're doing. I'm a communicator, I'm a facilitator. So I want to give recognition that learn to listen, learn to ask questions, learn to uphold each other. I will say credit to Suzanne Gizman, who you know, an interview. And so when she has difficulties, people saying, oh, I don't believe in what you have to say, she doesn't cut that off. She says, now, isn't that interesting? Of course. Tell me more about that. And so now there are more books available and tapes, and people like yourself and ourselves who are opening the floodgates. And we believe, as she does, to help parents who have lost children to be able to connect the parents with them. And that's an awesome experience. So I think we are at the point where the upshift of the planet, we are going to see and take charge over that, which no longer fits.
Earlier, you were mentioning AI.
Yeah.
And it's interesting when I go to my audience, it's changing, it's shifting. I'm watching them, ushering us along gently down this road, going from the concern about AI to maybe AI is here to help us, to serve us, to work with us. If everything is consciousness and nothing is not, is AI plugging into the field?
Yes, a recent book that I have purchased is from the Norwegian order, interviewed by Annika, The Wisdom of the North, as you know about.
Yes.
And the book that I'm reading is all about how the author has used AI as the communication vehicle, but the content of the book comes from her angelic beings. AI is the mechanical system that through which the angelic wisdom is coming, and that's reflected in the book. And so I think if one uses AI, be ensured that you're using the value-based, the ethics-based, and realize that if you connecting the mechanic system AI, and it's clearly in the book.
It begets the question, will it evolve past its programming to where it is consciousness speaking itself?
I don't believe so. And it's clearly in the book as it expresses, because AI is a mechanical system. It has no conscience. It is only what we put into it. So how we put the quality into it, it will bring. I use it personally. I might say, what is the connection, AI, between consciousness and spirituality? And I am blessed by the information because it extracts everything. Or I will use to say, there's a book that I'm interested in. Would you please tell me the top ideas in that book? And I am blessed by that. And so it is my own incentive and what I ask AI to do. It has no consciousness. And whereas my belief in God, the spirit, however we define it, that is consciousness, that is life itself, it's love itself.
What brings you the greatest hope for the future?
Greatest hope is that my life, everybody's life, is continuous. And so if I'm living continuous, I look forward to learning about my life has been about. And if I then go through the review, which I believe in, then now I am choosing, should I be moving on? And the other thing that's exciting is that I am contributing to the evolution of the world. I would help people to say, open your mind to that force. Like you might say almost, I am the Billy Graham of consciousness. Billy Graham to me was a very sincere man who in his time said, you must have that relationship with God through the Holy Spirit. And growing up, the trienness of God, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, just as you said, my idea of what God is just progressive, but it's still the loving being.
And then last words for people.
Understand consciousness, understand that you're swimming in it, and make use of it, and be a blessing, because each of us have tremendous talents.